Put 'em up. It's Carl Dukes back with another Dukes Dump. I told you we'd break down Sunday's Falcons-Eagles matchup a little bit more in detail, and that's what we're about to do here on the Dukes Dump. Let's start with Philadelphia, because one of the things that everybody believes is that Philadelphia's offense under Nick Sirianni, who came from the Colts, is going to be a lot better this season than it was last year. Now, part of that is that the Philadelphia Eagles used 14 different line combinations in 16 games last season. That's how much shuffling was going on the offensive line. It was all predicated due to injuries to left tackle Andre Dillard, right guard Brandon Brooks, right tackle Lane Johnson, so they had to shuffle guys the entire season. It's the main reason why the offense didn't look as efficient as it should have. Also, second-year quarterback Jalen Hurts now has a wide receiver in Devontae Smith who can take the top off the defense. But will they connect, and how good will they be? Everybody talks about the Alabama connection. Well, the NFL is different. And I think the Eagles roster, when you look at it as a whole, is kind of good. I don't think they're going to win the NFC East, but it wouldn't surprise me either if they did. They're going to be up-tempo, no huddle. They're going to run RPO and screens and power running behind what now should be a healthier offensive line coming off of last year gives them a lot of reason to be positive. Now, the mainstay of this Eagles football team is their defensive front. When you talk about Brandon Graham and Javon Hargrave and Fletcher Cox and Derek Barnett, these guys simply get after it. Ryan Kerrigan, they know how to get after the passer, and they will create pressure on Sunday against Matt Ryan. But how do you alleviate pressure? It's all about being able to run the football, maybe running screens of your own, getting the ball on the outside, quick hitters to keep the timing of these guys off balance. But the negative part about the Philadelphia Eagles roster is their secondary. They just don't have a good secondary. Darius Slay is still a very good corner in this league. But even if he's matched up the entire game with Calvin Ridley, I just don't see how they're going to defend the rest of the Falcons' wide receivers, even their tight ends. And that goes for Kyle Pitts. It goes for Hayden Hurst. It goes for Russell Gage. I just think we can create mismatches with routes, rub routes, etc., that will give the Eagles problem. They run a 4-3 base. Maybe they're in cover 2 to not try to get beat. But if you do that all game, I think Matt Ryan takes them apart and drives the ball up and down the field. So if they're able to get pressure with their front four, that's going to be key for the Eagles on Sunday. But there's a chance that we could be seeing Kayvon Wallace or even Marcus Epps starting at safeties, free and strong. And that is going to be great for Matt Ryan, because you're talking about two guys that are basically the backup guys, the nickel and dime guys that are in those packages, but they're not the true starting safeties because of what's been going on in their secondary. We will have to wait and see. But with all of that said, this is a team that has a pretty good roster. So what do the Falcons have to do? And how can they have success in this game on Sunday? It is Carl Dukes. It's the Dukes Dump. We're talking about Falcons-Eagles week 1 of the NFL season. And the Falcons, when you talk about where this team is right now, 27 new players on the roster, and Matt Ryan is 36 years old. And, oh, by the way, you've traded away what was your best player in Julio Jones. Now, I don't believe Julio Jones was the Falcons' best player the last couple of years, but his first 8 or 9 years here, he was certainly the Falcons' best player. But this all starts and ends with the offensive line. And now we know that up front, Jalen Mayfield is going to be starting along with Caleb McGarry and Jake Matthews and Chris Lindstrom and Matt Hennessy. And we talked a little bit about this earlier in the week when we said, will this O-line live up to it? First things first, you've got to be able to run the football. And if they're able to do that with Mike Davis in the backfield, then the Falcons offense will have success. And I think you're going to see Coach Arthur Smith commit to running the ball until they can't do it anymore. And I also believe, as Arthur Smith said on our show, Dukes and Bell, it's not about being balanced. It's about keeping the defense off guard. And I thought it was a really brilliant statement, because we always talk about, when we say balance, I think most people believe that means you have to run the ball 25 times, you got to throw it 35 times. You got to run it 30 times, you got to throw it 30 times. if you get 60 snaps in a game or 65 snaps. That's just not the case. But I do think that what Arthur Smith is talking about, and this is why they had success in Tennessee, is he's not afraid to go deep in that playbook and do something out of the ordinary. But the only way those things happen and the way they work is if you're doing what you need to do from the jump. Meaning you can't pull something out of the playbook that throws a defense off guard and they go, oh, we didn't expect that, or, oh, we that was a trick play if you're not running the football effectively. If you're running the ball, and it goes back to Tennessee, if you're handing the ball off to Derrick Henry and he's getting 5 yards a pop, you've got to defend that. So now all of a sudden the safeties start to creep up a little bit. Guys are moving in the box, and they know that Derrick Henry's going to get the ball. Now we're running play action, and we hit a 25-yard pass down the field. Okay? Next play, you come up, 2 backs in the backfield, maybe it's 22, 2 tight ends, and you're going, oh, they're going Derrick Henry, and here's another play fake, and boom, you hit the 10 yards over the middle. That's how you keep defenses off guard. And now you're not sure. Okay, Derrick Henry, next play is in the backfield by himself. He goes in motion, empty backfield. Okay, so what are we doing? Quick hitter. All of a sudden now you're throwing the ball, but you're moving the ball because the defense is still trying to adjust to the fact that, well, just 4 plays ago they were getting five yards a pop. Are the Falcons going to be able to do that? And that is really one of the big questions heading into Sunday's game. Meanwhile, Matt Ryan, people are talking about being worried that he's 36, he's lost some arm strength, this, that, and the other. I'm not concerned about that. I think Matt Ryan is going to be fine. Matt Ryan's been sacked over 40 times each season the last 3 years. That has been more part of his lack of success, not from a number standpoint, because his numbers still rate very high when you talk about top 10 quarterbacks. But when you talk about the team's lack of success, that's been a big part of it. And the Falcons ranked 26 in touchdown percentage in the red zone last year. That has to change. When Arthur Smith was with Tennessee over the last few seasons, last year, Tennessee ranked 2nd in red zone percentage last year, 74% compared to the Falcons' 53%. That's a huge difference. So when you get in the red zone, you've got to score. And when you get down there, it can't be field goals. That's been one of the issues for the Falcons. I'm hoping that Arthur Smith is able to change that with some creative play calling, but also keeping defenses off guard. Real quick, as we shift gears and talk about the Falcons defense, what to expect. Expect Dean Pease to blitz and bring heat and make Jalen Hurts uncomfortable. Hopefully you force him into a couple of mistakes. Maybe he throws a pick six. Maybe he throws into coverage that he should not. And it gives you a turnover or two that gives you the advantage in this game. This game could go either way, and I'm not sure how it's going to go. Eagles are talented, but I'm not sure if they're able to put it all together quite yet. If they're able to get after Matt Ryan, it comes down to that quite simply. And if the Falcons are able to move the football, run the ball, and keep them off balance, they're going to have success. I do think it'll be a closer game than most people believe, and I like the Falcons at home, because we haven't seen what this offense is capable of. Arthur Smith showed us nothing in the preseason. I can't wait. Sunday, we'll be talking about it. Coming back on Monday right here on Sports Radio 92.9 The Game with Dukes and Bell. Make sure you're there starting at 2 o'clock. It's the Dukes Dump. Put 'em up.